Good morning. Good Tuesday morning. It is May 17th. Thanks for coming in today. I see we got the crazy cat woman in the house. We got Sean from the Down Under Cruisers. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for coming in. Happy day. And Sean's here. We're going to add to the stream.
How
Hi,
you going?
Sean. How are you?
Good yourself?
Good. Let me get this layout right. I think that's done it. There we go. Good morning to you,
What are you
my friend.
drinking? Good
And good,
morning.
or
What
should
are
I
you
say
drinking?
good evening to you.
Good evening. What are you drinking?
I
Coffee?
have a cup of black coffee.
I'm having a latte I just made.
Very good. How was your day today?
Busy.
Busy, yeah. It is the work week, of course.
It is.
Yeah, we had I didn't, but my department had a busy night. We had a lot of storms here last night. They actually had a tornado touchdown in the state here in New Hampshire.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, crews were busy. Lots of trees down, lots of damage around. But we had one lightning strike, and we kind of fared pretty well considering the rest of the state. But crews
Well,
had a
that
busy
sounds
night
good.
for sure.
Not good that you had the issues, but good that you fared well.
Yeah, and I think everybody, according to what the news was saying this morning, that no one was hurt, which is definitely a plus.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, that's what's going on here. The sun's coming up now. We had rain yesterday. It's a sunny day. I actually should be out at the Tiki Bar right now doing the stream, but we set everything up in the house. So
Stay dry.
yeah, and I'm glad you're in today. It's good to see Crazy Cat Woman in the house, doing it with Jen is in. Good morning to you. Thanks for coming in this morning. I appreciate you dropping by today to start your day off with Sean and from Down on the Cruisers and myself, Jimmy, your astute tourist. Um, yeah, it's like I said, it's Tuesday morning. Um, be my typical work day. Tuesdays are my days in the field. Um, uh, Part of my job, I'm the chief in charge of fire prevention. So I do a lot of inspecting, a lot of new construction, that kind of stuff. So um,
That's
that
fun.
will that will be my job today. Yeah, it breaks it up. I have an office job, but Tuesdays and Thursdays I get to go out in the field and I talk with a lot of the contractors and meet with the public. So it makes it nice. It breaks things up. Um, Crazy Cat Woman says she's muted on her end. Didn't hear you. Sorry. What news? Oh, we were talking about the weather here, Terry. It's been we had some nasty weather overnight. They had a tornado touchdown in the state. Lots of trees and damage, lightning strikes. Nobody got hurt, and we fared pretty well as far as I know in my area. But I know north of here, they had a few uh, windy spots that took trees down and damaged some cars and buildings. So that's all. Not a lot of big news happening.
Can I just say g'day to doing it with Jen? How you going?
You can, and she's saying hello to you. And Crazy Catwoman saying hello to Jen.
Hey, I've got a question to ask you, Jimmy. Do
Sure.
you find that when new properties are being built, so you do inspections with contractors and all that sort of stuff. How many of them? What's the percentage of buildings that you'd need to say, okay, that's not to code?
Oh, it's not a high number, but I get those every week. And what'll happen is usually it's little things. They didn't. So, for instance, um, uh, things that I inspect are like vertical openings for piping for like sprinkler systems and that. So
Mm.
when they drill through the floor and they drill through the shoes in a wall, they have to put fire stop in the hole. That'll keep the fire from impinging through the hole and then burning up into the wall.
Yeah.
It's little things like that. The percentage, I would say, maybe it's small, 5% of the ones I check during the week, maybe even less, 3%. Um,
There's a show here called The Block. I don't know if you've ever watched it.
No.
but it's got some popularity. And what frightens the living daylights out of me is the way the show works. Is they get um, a group of volunteers, average Joe Blow, with an opportunity to earn whatever they can earn dollar wise at the end of the competition. And so what they've got to do is they are as they will give them maybe say 2 rooms to build in a week, like a bedroom and a kitchen.
Right.
Like for the life of me, those things take weeks, not one.
Right.
And then they wonder why properties like that are not 100% to code.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Speed is clearly not of the essence when it comes to building.
No.
And we, what I find in my job is there's real reputable contractors, and then a small percentage of those that we've never seen before. They may come in. They've bought maybe one lot. I deal with subdivisions and things with on the residential side. It's subdivisions, but we may get a contractor that we're not familiar with. They bought one lot. They're looking to make a quick dollar, and they certainly don't put the quality and the time into building. I do find that sometimes. I'll give you a quick story. So I am supposed to look at everything inside the walls when it comes to anything that do with fire. So venting for fireplaces and chimneys, things like that, wood stoves. And I went to go do a final for a wood stove installation, and they had already put sheetrock and the walls were up. And I asked the gentleman, I said, "So who's going to put the hole in the wall, me or you?" And he looked at me with this crazy look. "What do you mean put the hole in the wall?" And I said, "You weren't supposed to close these walls in. I have to look at the venting before you put it in because there's clearances to combustibles they have to meet." So he wasn't happy, but he did put a hole in the wall, cut a hole in the wall that he needed to repair after so I could take a good look at the venting. So that happens. It's rare. Um, but for the most part, I would say most of the contractors that I run into, they're very reputable. We have repeat contractors in the town that I work in. They're buying up large parcels of land and they're building, 25 to 50, 60 residential homes.
Oh, you've got that problem too.
Yeah, yeah, they build these cluster subdivisions where the houses are basically right on top of each other. They're not any more than 20 or 30 feet apart. And yeah, there's a lot of them. Where I run into the most percentage of failures is re-inspections. So, and that's for commercial occupancies. So your restaurants, your stores, your schools, believe it or not. And here in the United States, we have the laws that get adopted here are through a group called the NFPA, the National Fire Protection Association. And I'm sure you have similar laws like that in Australia, where we egresses, things like that, size of doors, exit signs. That's usually where the big failure is. They fail to replace batteries in their exit signs or their emergency lighting. They block doors. It's usually little things like that. So it's not. That's the bigger percentages after the building's built and somebody has moved in, and I have to go annually to those types of occupancies, especially in schools. We're dealing with children, so schools and
Yeah.
restaurants are my big ones. So.
Of late, we've had issues with, it would have been within the last 5 years or so, we've had buildings put up where contractors were able to get a much cheaper fascia. And the problem with those fascias was they were highly combustible.
Right.
So a bucket load of money has now been spent in removing some of those fascias and replacing them with fascias that are not as combustible.
Right. They need to get it right the first time.
Well, hey, it's only money.
I guess. And some seems like some of these contractors, they have a bottomless bag full of money. Certainly, I don't, but
No.
I, my thing I tell them when I meet with contractors prior to them building is, we need to get it 100% right on paper before you even put a screw or a nail in. That way,
Yep.
um, we can come right in. You can get your job done efficiently, and so can I. Um, I don't mind going back to reinspect something, but let's get it right the first time. Then I don't have to come back, and I'm not giving you a little bit of stress and heartburn for the day. So
Yep.
let's see. Doing it with Jen. Have I ever inspected a place and told them that something was wrong and had to be fixed right now, but they did not fix it and fire happened? No, but I have told them that they have to fix it right now, and with the threat of shutting their business down. When you hit somebody in their pocketbook, good morning, Najuma. How are you? Thank you for
Hey,
coming in.
Najuma.
Um, yeah, when you hit them in their pocketbook, they definitely respond a lot quicker. I did have a person that was actually cooking in their store where they're not allowed to. You can't. You have to have certain provisions in order to cook. And this was a retail shop, and she it's like a dog animal boutique. They sell collars and leashes and that kind of thing. But she was making her own type of food and cooking it in there for the dogs. And it's against the law without certain commercial venting and suppression devices. So we put a cease and desist on her right away. She needed to take care of it, either stop cooking or take care of it right away. And she chose to stop cooking the product there. So that can affect their bottom line. And I do have the right to go in and close somebody down. Not that I ever want to. The last thing I want to do is create a monetary hardship for anyone. But the laws are there for a reason, and the laws have been developed as a reaction due to something that's happened prior. A certain fire or something. So they'll make codes after the fact instead of being somewhat proactive. They're more reactive.
Hey, Jimmy, take that a bit further. So you issue the cease and desist. She stops cooking at those premises, goes home, and cooks the product at home.
Okay, so residential is a lot different. So here in this country, the law looks at a person who is a homeowner. You're essentially the king of your castle. You're the ruler of your own kingdom. So the certain laws that would apply to a commercial occupancy don't necessarily apply to a residential one. Um, so, for instance, an occupancy, a commercial one that would require a fire suppression sprinkler, residential doesn't require it. So there's a whole boatload of laws and codes that I have to not necessarily remember, but I have to know where to find the answer. And there's a lot of them. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, so certainly my longevity and my experience has helped me in remembering a lot of this stuff. But sometimes I don't always get it right, and I may tell somebody that they need to do something when they don't. It doesn't mean that I agree with the code. I think all residential homes should be protected with a residential sprinkler, but they're
So
allowed.
how does it handle? How does the code handle, say, somebody doing a home business?
So that it all depends on what the business is. So let's say you're a crafter and you're making like greeting cards and that kind of thing. That's somewhat of a low hazard type. So they base a lot of the occupancy or the businesses based upon their hazard class as well. So using paper and printers and things like that may necessarily not be a high hazard, maybe low, and that doesn't really require anything other than the fact that they need to let the town that they're in know that they have a home business. But if you're, um, let's say you're using volatile chemicals or you're using alcohols and things like that, where there's a high hazard, then they have to meet certain parts of the code.
Say that business that you actually went in and told that lady to stop cooking, or that person to stop cooking at their premises. What if that business was actually run as an addition to their home? So they had a little area outside that they'd converted into the retail store, but they had the kitchen.
Yeah, there wouldn't be a whole lot I could do about it in the home.
That
So
from our point of view here, it's becoming a very grey area, but it's also being one that the government is trying to regulate.
And for a good reason. You still have the public coming into your home or your home-based business, and you're certainly putting their safety at risk. I would agree with you that I think that, or agree with your government's viewpoint that they need to try to regulate things like that. This particular business was in what we call like a strip mall, so it was a series of attached buildings that had buildings to the left and right, and then in occupancies above. So that's where the severity of the code kicks in, is because you have all these other occupancies there that are attached. So the life hazard is a lot greater than it would be in your home. You may have, depending on the home-based business, the percentage of customers at one time is a lot lower than it would be in a commercial-based one.
Yeah, it's all exciting stuff. It's interesting.
Yeah. It's some days it's exciting. I mean, I'm a fire investigator as well, so I've been working on a case right now that could be construed as a insurance fraud. So people, in terms of arson, people light fires for several reasons, and one of them is for insurance fraud. So we're trying to rule arson out. That's the first thing I do when I investigate any fire. Is we try to find the cause and origin of the fire, but we also want to try to find or rule out arson, because people will use fire to cover a lot of things, like a crime. A lot of murder cases where they'll light the building on fire and try to burn the body. They'll try to, they're having a monetary hardship, so they'll burn the building down to try to get the insurance money and stuff like that. So that's kind of, that to me is more exciting than doing the code, stuff.
Because it's having a look to see just how that thing started, and it's almost like investigation type work.
Yeah. So it's I work directly. So I'm in code enforcement. So even though I'm not a police officer, I am part of enforcing the law. And here in my state and in the United States, each state will typically have the Department of Safety. We have the fire marshal's office, and those are the cops. They're actually firefighters, but they're police as well. And I have direct contact with them. I essentially work for them. I am like the long arm of them within the local region. So I have a lot of contact with them. They're certainly have a lot more expertise than I do, and I definitely reach out and use them as a resource when I need to. And in this particular case, the one I'm working on now, I have spoken with them over the course of last week. And then, another way to try to find some things is to get people's insurance companies involved as well. Of course, they don't want to pay out money if there's some sort of fraud happening. So we can use them to, help as leverage to possibly get to the bottom of to see if the crime has been committed. So it's very interesting. I have a great job. It's a lot different than me just riding in the fire truck and going and putting out the fire. which I did for many years, but my body's starting to wear out. So
There's a limit to how long you can carry those hoses.
yeah, so I mean, I'll be 58 next month, and I started doing this when I was 18. So 40 years of actually dragging the hose and using the heavy tools and that. I've had shoulder surgery, I've had knee surgery, and I have a herniated disc in my back. So it was time for me to move from riding in the fire engine to now being an administrative chief. So I still get to go to the fires, and I still, I get to smell the smoke and be part of that action. But I'm more in a command role, in a
It's
directive
much
role.
more comfortable doing it in a vehicle rather than a truck.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. I will, Jen. I'll be careful. I've been trying to be careful my whole life, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a dangerous job. It's not for everybody. We deal with. We were talking about this yesterday at work, where we certainly deal with things that most people don't even think about dealing with. We deal with human tragedy, whether it's a fire, somebody dying in a fire, suicides, car accidents. It's not for everybody, and fire department has a high rate of alcoholism and divorce. Uh, I've been lucky. I'm not, nor am I an alcoholic, and I've been with Colleen for a little bit more than 40 years. So
Hang
we've
on,
beaten the odds. So
hang on a minute. You've been with Colleen a little bit longer than 40 years. So what, did you get her as a baby?
well, one would think my dad had said that. He said I had robbed the cradle. I met Colleen when she was 14. We were both in high school. I was a senior. She was a freshman. And we dated pretty much all the way through her period in high school. We were together for about 8 years when we decided to get married. So yeah,
That's
we've been
awesome.
together a long time. Like I said, we've beaten the odds because it was funny because the percentage of folks in my business, at least in the room the other day, we were talking, and let's see, what was there? 6 of us in the room. So I was the only one that hadn't been divorced. All the other 5 had already been divorced and remarried, or one was still single.
Yeah, life has you in doing things in strange ways.
Yeah, it sure does. And like I said, the business that we're in is it takes its toll um, on relationships,
Yeah,
and a lot of people will get post traumatic stress, and
especially when you're working. We're here. No, in South Africa, they were doing 48 hours on, 48 hours off.
oh
That was the
wow.
shift.
So
Um,
our schedules here are a little different. We do 24s typically on, and then so depending on the hourly work week, some fire departments are different than the one I'm at. Now I don't work this schedule, but the crews do. So they'll work 24 on, 24 off, 24 on, and then they have 5 days in a row off. And that just works out because of the number of folks that we have. We have four different groups with 6 firefighters on each group. So we have 24, excuse me, and that's how that works out. It works out to what they call a 42-hour work week. But they get a lot of overtime right now where manpower is down. It's hard to actually find firefighters right now. So
it's hard to find anybody.
yeah, and we're having a lot of firefighters, that are older like myself. They've decided to retire, and we're having a hard time trying to get them to trying to find firefighters to come on and replace those people. So we've had to mandate coverage with the guys that are there, and that can create a burnout. So we're definitely we're in a tough spot right now, like you said, everywhere. We're definitely feeling the crunch, but we'll do the best we can. Hopefully we can find some quality people that want to become firefighters. Najuma says, my brother is a firefighter 20 minutes away from me. I appreciate all that you gentlemen do. And thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. Most firefighters are we're pretty humble. We just do it because it's what we do. I know I got into it because I don't know. I just like to help people, and I just want to make sure that people are safe and do my part. I think whoever's looking over us um, definitely looks at the things that we do in life and may hold a special place for us. I don't know. That's really not the reason I'm doing it. But good morning, Zach Lefebvre. How are you? You're new to the stream. Glad to see you. Glad you could come in, and I appreciate it. So, how's things down under? Things going well with you?
Yeah, we're doing all right. We're
What do
busy.
you do, Sean? What do you do for work?
I teach first aid.
Oh, you do? Okay. So
Yeah.
that was all the first aid questions we were talking about the other day.
Correct.
Fantastic. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
We teach first aid, and then we've also got a couple of other high-risk courses as well. Things like working at heights, confined space, breathing apparatus, and then a couple of fun courses like barista course, and then responsible serving of alcohol. So teaching people how to serve alcohol responsibly.
I love it. Well, here's to you. Cheers. That's a great profession you're in. We have something in common.
We certainly do.
I as a young firefighter, I've taken rescue from heights classes, below grade stuff. Um, I imagine you must. Do you do anything with like hypothermia and those
Yes.
types of things? I imagine
Yes.
you would. With all the
That's part of our normal first aid.
right, yeah, and ours as well. Hypo. We get
Yep.
a lot of hypo here, being in the Northeast. Um, Even in the summertime, with the cold water, near death drownings, things like that. We have to deal with that hypothermia stuff. But
Our biggest issue here is heat stroke.
and I would imagine that you have a lot of warm areas there, from what I understand. So
The sun shines. We can't help it. It's gorgeous here.
right, yeah. The sun. I always say the sun is my friend, but you have to respect it. It's like anything else. I mean, you have to make sure that you wear your sunscreen and get out of the heat when you can. Make sure you have plenty of water.
Do everything in moderation.
Exactly. So let's see what else is going on. So, like I said, the weather here is good today. It's been crazy here. It's been cold. It seems like we went right from winter into summer. The temperatures were between 80 and 90 the last 4 or 5 days. And today it's actually somewhat seasonably normal, I guess I would say. They're saying the temperature is going to be in the 70s, and that would be normal for May here in the northeastern United States.
No, we're cooling down.
Yeah, so now you're in kind of in your fall time, right?
Correct.
Yep.
So temperature today was, I can give it to you in C, and I'll do the conversion for you shortly, but the temperature yesterday was like 19 degrees. Today it was 17. Tomorrow it's going to be 15. 15 is about 60.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So is that normal for you, or is that?
Because we're heading down into winter, and the coolest time for us, we will probably get about 10 C as a max. 10 C.
Okay.
10.
So that's like around 55 degrees Fahrenheit or so.
Yep.
Yeah, that's chilly.
But then an overnight will be like -3. So
yeah, that's cold for sure. I have to get my son up for school. Well, thank you, Jen. I appreciate you coming in. It's good to see you. Thank you. I'm glad Najuma come in. I know that she has told me before that her brother was a firefighter, and I got 2 thumbs up for him, and I hope
Najuma is one amazing lady. Let me tell you something. Every time I go onto a chat somewhere, there's no Juma.
She's
She
she's she's definitely a great supporter.
absolutely.
I she comes into mine. I see her in yours. She's over at Kenny's. She's in with V. She's all over the place.
She's
She's just
everywhere.
and when I go to her channel, she doesn't have any videos.
No, that's right.
I wish I could
She openly
support her
admits she's
more,
not a
but
creator.
yeah, well, that's okay. It's that's not for everybody either. But we got to at least have her do something so that
Well, that's it.
we can go on
I'll have
and
to have some serious words with her fairly shortly
yeah.
because she's coming on our group cruise. So I'm going to have some serious words with her.
Yeah, you'll have to tell her what the deal is and make sure that at least maybe when she goes on the cruise, she can take some footage and at least do some non-narrative type of video or something like that.
Yep.
Some people they don't want to be they don't want to put their face on the video, and I get that. When I first started my channel, I had people asking me to come up into their streams, and I was like, oh no, I don't want to do that. But now it's kind of old hat now, and I enjoy it. So it's good to put my face out there and talk with folks. And
Everybody's got something to say, and everybody else has got something to pick up from it. We can all teach people things, so I reckon it's a good idea.
yeah, I agree. And at least we get to learn something about somebody. I mean, I try to learn something new every day. You learn some things about me every day, especially
That's
going up
correct.
here. And I definitely have learned a little bit more about you, Sean, today. I appreciate you sharing what you do for work. And
Oh no, it's my pleasure. It's my
every
pleasure.
everybody does something for work.
Yep,
Even if you're retired, you need to do something.
correct.
I I I somewhat envy Dawn, who's her new life in Cyprus. She living the life that her and her husband live. They have the olive grove and somewhat off the grid, and that's kind of a cool life that they're doing there. I think that's pretty amazing. I was in
That
a
is
stream
awesome.
last night where there's a lot of homesteaders here in this country, and they're all off the grid doing solar, um, growing their own gardens, things like that. And I'd like to maybe try to be a little bit more like that. We do have a garden. We try to can a lot of our vegetables that we grow and be somewhat self-sustaining, but we're definitely on the grid. Um,
We rent, so unfortunately, I would love to be on the off the grid, but because we rent, we can't do anything like take put on panels and all that sort of stuff because
right.
it requires infrastructure which we're not allowed to actually modify. So I take my hat off to the people who have done things like the solar panels and the wind panel and the wind turbines and all that sort of stuff because it certainly makes a difference. If we can get off the grid, it's only going to make life a lot easier down the track.
Absolutely. This whole, I don't know if you guys are finding I'm sure you are, the food shortages and right now there's a whole baby formula shortage here. And people are they're, what's the right word I want to use? I don't want to say they're panicking, but they're very concerned about it, those with
Mm,
babies. And I am like, well, what did we do before there was baby formula? They made their own baby formula. So
correct.
you need to try to be a little more self-sufficient, and gain some knowledge on what you would do, because God forbid, but we could have some sort of a natural solar flare that would knock out the electricity for months. And then
Correct.
what are people going to do then? So you need to try to take care of yourself and at least have the knowledge of what to do in case something like that happens. So there's no
Correct.
need for panic. You just need to educate yourself.
That's it.
Breastfed the
I agree.
babies.
I agree with
Crazy.
you wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I mean, I was I was a Boy Scout as a young boy, and the motto is to be prepared. And I wholeheartedly believe in that. And again,
Yep.
we're on the grid here. I rely on electricity, but I'll be honest, if I didn't have electricity, I could certainly survive without it. We certainly could.
Yep. Now you're coming close to having to go.
I am, yeah. Let's see, what time is it? Oh yeah, geez, it is time. Thank you, Sean. I need to get to work. I really appreciate you coming in. This is 2 days in a row. I feel honored.
I was waiting for you. That's why.
I appreciate it. Um, I'm hoping that I can get some editing done today. I have a couple more videos of when I went to Florida, and I really haven't had the time to do it. And I need to get the RV together where it's pretty much good, but I want to do my next, maybe tomorrow or the day after, do our live stream from the RV and give everybody a tour of that. So we got that coming up. I had a whole thing planned. I had 100 interesting facts that we were going to talk about today, but this was a lot better having you come up in the panel. And you're welcome to come up anytime, my friend. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you very much.
And for those of you that are with us here this morning, Sean and his wife are involved in a group where a charity where they raise money to help folks that may not be as fortunate as us to be able to afford to go on a cruise. And he helps them get the funding to be able to do that, and takes care of all the planning in that. So it's called, well, tell us, Sean, tell us what it is.
It's called Helping Hands for Cruising, and as Jimmy says, we look for ways to help people who, for one reason or another, are unable to go on a cruise, have never had that opportunity, and so we look to try and get them on a cruise. And as an example, we have a cruise coming up in March of next year, and we are looking for a recipient who could benefit from going on a free cruise, whether it be the person who might be disabled, or it might be the carer who looks after that person for one reason or another, has not had that opportunity to actually get on a cruise. So we're looking for people who can who would like to take on that opportunity. And so the ruling is never cruised before in your life, never had the opportunity to cruise before in your life, and deserve a break. And that's what the rules are. So what we're asking is for people to just put together a video where they nominate the person they want to have go on that cruise, and then the board at Helping Hands for Cruising will assess it, and then they'll be either given the nod or the other nod.
Right. So let's see, you're going to be doing another video. What do you call it? Is it a videothon or a streamathon?
Cruisathon.
Cruisathon. Thank you.
Yep.
So that's going to be coming up in June. And
Yep.
If anybody is interested in participating in that, get a hold of Sean at Down Under Cruisers. And we're definitely going to do it. We were involved in the last one in the fall, and it's a great time and it's a great cause. So look out for that. And I know that we'll have some information to come for all of you out there. And if you just want to join in and be in the chat during these streams, that's great. And we're looking for donations.
Appreciate it.
And if you want to participate and be one of the streamers, I guess, there'll be an opportunity for you to do that as well. So look
Absolutely.
out for that. And Sean, again, I want to thank you for coming up, and you're welcome every day we're up. You can come up into the panel. I enjoy our talks. It's a lot of fun. I want to thank Terry, Crazy Catwoman, and Zach Lefebvre, who's new, Jen and Najuma Brown for coming into the stream today. We'll be doing it again tomorrow morning. Hey, Drunken Chef Barbecue. He's a new friend of mine. Thank you for coming in. We're just getting ready to get out of the stream. But I was just going to say, we're going to be back tomorrow morning at 6:20 Eastern Standard Time. I do this every weekday. So come back tomorrow. We'd love to have you in the chat. But I guess that's going to do it for me. So I
have a
appreciate
safe day,
everybody.
buddy.
Thank you. You as well. Have a good evening. Let your
Thank
wife
you.
know we said hi and cheers to her. And
I will. Thank you.
don't forget PMA, positive mental attitude. PMA will save your day. Have a positive thought daily. It certainly helps chase the negativity away for sure, and it'll help your
Sure
day
does.
out. And I guess with that, I want to wish everybody peace. I want to wish you love from deep down in my heart. Have a great day. My name is Jimmy. I'm your astute tourist. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Take care.